Continue with the parts of the plant. We have the stems. There are three types. Woody plants. Trees and shrubs live several years and develop a large amount of wood. A plant with a single tall, woody stem that can stand erect without support is a tree. A plant that has several low, woody stems near the ground and can stand erect without support is a shrub or bush. Herbaceous plants. To many people, a herb is any plant used as a medicine, seasoning, or flavoring. But to a botanist, an herb is any plant whose stem remains relatively soft. The third kind of plant, the vine, can be either woody or herbaceous. For example, the grape. Parts. Buds. Lateral buds are responsible for a tree's breadth and branching. Bud scale scars indicate where last year's growth started. Each year, growth begins at the bud. The age of the twig can easily be determined by counting the sets of bud scale scars. Growth continues in the terminal region of the stem. The nodes are areas where leaves are growing or have grown. Botanists call the section of the twig between nodes and an internode. Leaf scars. At a node reveal where leaves were attached to the stem in previous years. As you look closely at the leaf scars, you will notice tiny markings, or bundle scars, which indicate the passage points of vascular tissue from the stem to the petiole of the leaf. Other markings on the bark are lenticles, openings in the bark that allow air to enter the stem, providing a means of respiration. Vegetative reproduction occurs when some part other than the seed grows into a new plant and is one type of asexual, no union of sex cells to reproduction. The process is called vegetative propagation. There are four types. A cutting, or slip, is a piece of a stem or root that can grow into a new plant. Layering. A frequent method of layering involves fastening a container of soil around the nodes of a stem to induce the stem to develop roots. Grafting is a process of transplanting living tissue from one plant to another. Grafting is used to propagate seedless plants such as seedless grapes and seedless navel oranges. Budding must take place when the tree is a seedling. A single leaf bud is cut from a desirable apple tree and placed in a slit in the bark of the seedling native tree. If the budding process has been done correctly, the bud will grow and become attached to the stalk upon which it has been budded. Tropisms. You may have noticed that a plant left near a window for several days without being turned will often bend toward the window. This occurs because the plant senses the window as a source of light and grows toward the light, a process known as phototropism. Plants can also respond to gravity, a process called geotropism. Two types of geotropism can occur in the same plant. The roots grow downward toward Earth's gravity, positive geotropism, while the stem grows upward away from Earth's gravity, negative geotropism. Other tropisms in plants include chemotropisms, growing toward chemicals, hydrotropism, growing toward water, and thigmotropism, growing toward touch. Hormones. Most tropisms are regulated by internally produced chemical messengers called hormones. Auxin causes the stem or shoot of the plant to grow faster on one side than the other, making the shoot as a whole slowly bend. Cytokinins are growth hormones that can affect stem growth. Cytokinins are especially important in promoting cell division, the process by which new plant cells are produced from existing cells. Gibberellins are growth hormones that help to regulate normal plant growth. ABA signals plant tissues to remain dormant, such as in a tree that is shut down for the winter or seed that is waiting for spring. Ethylene is a hormone that signals leaf abscissation when a tree prepares for winter. Tissue culturing. Rhizomes, thick stems that grow horizontally under the ground providing food storage and a means of vegetative reproduction. Stolons, special stems that grow quickly along the surface of the ground. Their function is to produce new plants wherever a node touches the soil. Tubers provide a plant with food storage and a means of reproduction, while man benefits from their good nutrition. Arrangement of leaves on stems. Only one leaf grows from each node in an alternating pattern up the brink. All leaves have maximum exposure to the sunlight in this arrangement because no leaf is directly above another. When there are 3 or more leaves growing from each node, the arrangement is called whorled. Plants such as the dandelion and daisy that have a cluster of leaves growing around the base of the plant are said to have a rosette arrangement. Regardless of the pattern of arrangement, individual leaves arrange themselves so that each blade is at approximately a 90 degrees angle to the source of light. When 2 leaves grow from each node, the arrangement is referred to as opposite. Flowers. Flower parts. A flower is usually formed on the enlarged end of a special stem, the pedicel. The flower parts, sepals, petals, etc. are attached to the end of the pedicel, called the receptacle, which is designed to hold the developing seeds. Sepals are attached to the edge of the receptacle. The sepals enclose and protect the flower's petals. Petals play an important role in pollination by attracting insects with their showy colors and sweet nectar. Stamens. Within the corolla are the stamens, the organs that produce the pollen. The pollen contains the male reproductive cells, or sperm cells, of the flower. Each stamen consists of 2 parts, a slender, elongated stalk called the filament, and an enlarged structure at the tip of the filament, and the anther. The anther produces the pollen. A typical flower's pistil is divided into three parts: the stigma, the style, and the ovary. The swollen base of a pistil is called the ovary. Within the ovary are located ovules, or future seeds, which contain the female reproductive cells, called egg cells. When the egg cell is fertilized, the ovules will develop into seeds to produce new plants. The stalk-like structure that connects the ovary to the tip of the pistil is the style. The stigma of the pistil is a part of the flower that receives the pollen grains at the time of pollination. A complete flower is one that has sepals, petals, stamens, and pistils. An incomplete flower lacks one or more of these four basic flower parts. Flowers that lack pistils and bear only stamens are called staminate, or male flowers pistillate. Monoecious plant: any plant in which both staminate and pistillate flowers are produced in the same plant. Dioecious plants: these plants produce staminate and pistillate flowers just as monoecious plants do, but the two types of flowers are borne by separate plants. Flowering factors: the transfer of pollen from an anther to the stigma of a pistil is pollination. Fragrant flowers usually have nectar-producing glands to attract pollinating insects. Nectar is a sweet-tasting, watery liquid produced by plants. Fertilization: ovules began developing into seeds only after a sperm cell brought by a pollen grains used with the egg cell within the ovule through the process of fertilization. The sperm cell and egg cell are called gametes, or reproductive cells. Reproduction, in which sperm and egg unit, is sexual reproduction. When the pollen tube reaches the ovary, it seeks out an ovule and grows into it, carrying the two sperm cells with it. One of the sperm cells unites with the egg cell, forming the embryo. The other sperm cell fuses with cells called polar nuclei to form the endosperm, a nutritional tissue that surrounds the fertilized egg and provides nourishment to the growing embryo. Slow development of the ovules into seeds results in the formation of hormones that cause the ovary to begin ripening, developing into a fruit. Fruit types: simple fruits, when they form from one flower that has only one pistil. In contrast, aggregate fruits form from one flower that has several pistils, and multiple fruits form from several flowers. Seed structure and germination. Seeds have three main parts: the young embryo plant, the endosperm, which provides nutrition to the growing embryo, and the seed coat, which provides a protective covering for the seed. The hilum marks where the seed was attached to the ovary wall during its development. Each embryo consists of a plumule, a tiny shoot that will develop into the stem and leaves of the plant, a radicle, which will develop into the root system of the plant. The sprouting of a seed is called germination. Dormancy is a period of inactivity which helps prevent seeds from sprouting when conditions are unfavorable for the growth of young plants. The embryo obtains energy for its rapid growth by burning the stored food in its cotyledons by the process of cellular respiration.